and thank you so much for watching the forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and today we are talking about innovative housing projects. And our first person today, our first guest, is Katie Sears, and she's here with the Shasta Humanity Project, and you are the community educator.
Yes.
So is it just for Shasta County, or for...
As of right now, we're just covering Shasta County.
Okay, great. All right.
Can we go back? What is the Shasta Humanity Project?
Oh, so well, thank you for asking. So Shasta Humanity Project, we are a local nonprofit, and we are creating micro-housing for the unsheltered population, which you could also refer to as homeless, but for the unsheltered population here in Shasta County.
That's amazing.
Micro-housing. What does that mean? What is micro-housing?
So micro-housing is just a smaller, some people refer to it as tiny house, but it's just a smaller, affordable housing. It's the unit that we're working on is about 209 square feet.
Yeah, I was going to ask your square footage.
Yeah, so it's just it's a small house, but it's a safe, stable place for our unsheltered population to be able to get off the street and be able to start addressing what led to that homelessness to begin with. So Shasta Humanity Project, we're looking to we would like to have 30 units on land here in Shasta County, along with a community building, and be able to bring people, we would screen them, bring them into our program, and then help them address whatever barriers that they're looking at as far as getting into permanent housing. Right. So it is a transitional housing for about 24 months, so the person can get stable. We would bring in outside resources to help them with anything from behavioral health, substance abuse, job training, education, anything that would stand in their way of permanent housing.
Now, do you act more does your program act more as just a connector for those services, or would you have those services in-house for them? Like, how would that work?
So in our vision, when we first started, we were looking at providing everything, but it became too overwhelming to do that. And we have so many great services here in Shasta County, and so it would really act as a connector. So we would have either the people come into the community that can, or we would help them get to those services.
Well, it's like at One Safe Place, they found that they could bring all the services to the building and provide the services there. So the families didn't have to go all over, you know, and that I'm sure you're gonna. Now, who is we? You're talking about we. Who are the people that organize this? So how are you getting funding, and who's buying the tiny houses, and where's the land?
So we have a couple. So I'll start with the we. It's a group of people here in Shasta County. We have 7 board members of just local community people who wanted to help out, do something. Some of them have ties to more community related type stuff. Some of them just, they wanted to do something to help an underserved population here in Shasta County. So like I said, there's 6 or 7 board members, and then we don't have a ton of volunteers at this point. We aren't ourselves building the house. We have a architect and a contractor who are building the house or have built the house. The house is
You have a prototype?
We have a prototype house that is done.
Wow.
We are looking to put it on display here shortly. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it will be coming up. So people in the community will be able to go out and see the house for themselves.
That will be very interesting, and really bring home like your whole goal and mission, for people to see.
Right, so they can see our vision, because it was hard to explain to people, this is what we want to do. So we ended up, and when we have all private funding, so it's donations from the community.
Wow.
We've been very, very lucky to have the donors that we have. They felt passionate about our project, and they've helped us sponsor the project to the point where we actually built and completed the house.
Wow.
So, and it's a fully functioning house. You have a kitchen, a bathroom.
Yeah,
it's a full house. So you can, it's...
Oh, in 200 feet, there's a kitchen?
Yes.
And a bathroom?
Yes, a kitchen, a bathroom.
Wow.
A little dining area. It's a very nice house.
Yeah, and a bed.
Yes, and a bed.
So it's a very small studio, essentially.
Yes, it is.
So when you guys started this project, and you're you're hoping to have this happen. Are you specifically, what are you hoping that the community will see as a what am I trying to say?
How to participate?
No, as a
what will
help? Yeah, what will we get from it as a community? Why couldn't I find like the end result?
Yes,
the benefit.
So the benefit would just be having people off the street. That is a big concern here in Shasta County. We do have a lot of people on the street, and it's across the United States. It's everywhere, but it would be able to get people off the street into housing and not have them in our parks, on our streets, and just places that aren't safe. And unfortunately, they don't have places to go, so they're camping out. It's hard to get all of the stuff that, all of the environmental impact that it's having with them camping and stuff like that. So really to get them somewhere where they can start to contribute. A lot of them, I think we have a lot of preconceived notion that people want to be homeless, but there are a lot of barriers and a lot of things. It's very complex what goes into homelessness, and so we want to be able to give those people back that power to be able to be part of our community, to be able to give back.
Katie, what percentage of the people who are homeless do you think would want to be a participant in your program?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think with our program, we're trying to have very low barriers. And what I mean by that is not putting so many requirements on the person. When we start to require too much stuff from the person, it gets overwhelming. So being able to support them and support their journey, I think, is really what we're trying to achieve. Kind of changing the way we've addressed things in the past. A lot of people do get overwhelmed, or they've had bad experiences, and so maybe changing that up a little bit and seeing if, and really our biggest thing is to have somebody there to support them, have a mentor or a case manager, somebody who can teach them some of the things that they might have been lacking when they've we're growing up.
I'm just so curious because we use the library a lot, our family. Like I'm a big library user, and it has been overtaken by the homeless people, and many of them seem to be on drugs, and so I'm just trying to picture how do you move them from where they are into your program?
So when we do look at people, and a lot of them use substances to stay awake and to be able to exist on the street. That's got to be an extremely rough existence. So I think when you take people out of that environment and introduce them into a safe and secure environment, then you can start to work on what those issues are. And you're right, the library is completely overwhelmed with people, and it's turned into,
it's ruined,
like our day center.
I know,
we need another area.
It's a de facto daycare.
It
really
is. That's what it's turned into, and we really need something.
Our city needs to get on the stage.
Well, and I love what you're doing. I mean, my biggest question would be, where would the homes be? Where would they be located?
See, that is where we're kind of looking at different areas. We've looked in the city, we've looked in the county, we've looked at private land. It's really trying to figure out what's going to be the best for the community, for the city, and for the clients as far as transportation. So we don't have any one location as of right now. So,
and were you thinking that they would be interspersed throughout, or were you thinking one area with all the tiny homes? Like what?
So that's what we were looking at, is having one area with all the homes there and having services be able to come there. As we accomplish that, we would like to possibly have different areas for them to be in.
This is so interesting. I love seeing a positive, instead of just complaining.
Right.
You guys are making positive steps towards helping these homeless people. The question always comes down to, how could we help, and also what's the funding? What are the funding sources? You said they've been so far just donations. Do people how do they get in touch with you, and how do they get involved?
So we have, you can donate through ShastaHumanityProject.org. So if you go there, it tells you a little bit about our project. You can donate. We need, pretty much everything from financial support to volunteers, people who are willing to do something for the greater community is what we're looking for. Anybody who wants to try to help give back. We also have, if you donate $25 or more, you can also visit us at Facebook. We have our social media page, and if you donate $25 or more, you can get a t-shirt and a bag for your donation. And we're just looking for people to be able to volunteer, like I said, support our organization in pretty much every way possible.
Every area.
Yeah. Now, would you be looking for people like, say, there's Sierra Pacific? It's just the first thing I can think of, or lumber companies to donate the actual materials for the homes, like a kitchen sink, or are those the types of things people can donate in kind? People
can do in-kind donations. We're looking at possibly having another organization that's in the community that's building houses to be able to build these houses, and even the residents themselves, being able to train them to build these houses for other communities. We'd like to even build houses for commercial use. So we could build a house, we could have the people in the village building the house. So we'd like to be able to make it a global.
Yeah. And one more question. Do we have time for another question? Yeah. So do you feel like if you create these villages, is your hope that they will encourage each other, or do you feel like there might be a possibility that it would maybe become a distraction, since they all are working through different things, and
I think that they would be able to support themselves. If you look at the different communities of tiny house communities, villages, and that's why we're keeping it at that 30, so that they can support each other. If you start to get too big, you lose the community. Too small, you might have some of that infighting.
Okay. This is wonderful to hear about this. It's nice to hear positive things happening. Shasta Humanity Project.org.
Yes.
Is that what you said? And your Facebook page is the same name?
Yes, same name, Shasta Humanity Project.
Great. Well, thank you for coming on, Katie. We appreciate it. It's good to hear about it.
Yes.
And the first half is already finished, so we'll be right back looking at another exciting housing project right here in the North State in just a few minutes.
Hi, we are back, and we are here with Dave Ferrier. He is the CEO and president of the Community Housing Improvement Program. And I'm so excited to have you on, because this will be very interesting.
Yep.
Thank you.
A brand new program well, it's not a brand new program. To me, it is a brand new program. Community Housing Improvement Program, otherwise known as CHIPS, but not like the TV show.
CHIP, singular, not plural.
Oh, CHIP. Okay.
Thank you.
So what do you do?
Okay.
Right? What do you do? Who are you? What's your background?
CHIP is a nonprofit that develops housing, where we are governed by a board of directors. We're based in Chico, but we serve the whole Sacramento Valley.
Wow.
We serve all the way from Shasta Lake City all the way down into Yuba County. So a very large geographic area. But our primary mission is home ownership. We like to promote home ownership. That's how we started back in 1973. And our primary program is what's called the Mutual Self-Help Housing Program, where families work together as groups to build their own homes. And it's a home ownership program that is affordable to those homeowners. And it's been a very successful program through the years. It's a model that we adopted from a group that was in the San Joaquin Valley. Back in the 60s, they started it, and through the years, through the last 50 years, they've built, this program nationwide has built 50,000 houses.
Wow.
50,000 homes.
Of home ownership, not just houses, right? Home ownership.
But where do you find these people? Like, who are the people that you're helping?
Okay. So it's by definition, it's low income. There's government definitions of low income, which is 80% of area median income, and that definition governs what the ceiling is of who we can serve. But then you also have to qualify for a mortgage. It's a home ownership program, so you have to be able to have enough income to make the mortgage payment, and then you also have to have good or no credit to qualify for that mortgage. And so that creates a band of people who are eligible, and then obviously, because we're building in different communities, as an example, we are in the market for families that are to build in Cottonwood at the moment, but we also have built in many other different communities. And so recruiting those families from an interest list which we've been maintaining through the years. So if you call us up, or you email us, we have your name and your phone number and your email address. We can contact you when a project is getting ready to be built in your area.
Oh, wow. Now, how do you find the land? Like, what? I mean, how does this work?
Okay, so Chip, we basically operate the program from the beginning to the end. So we have to go out and find the land. You can't build a house without a piece of land to build on. And so it's a typical subdivision type lot, building lot, and you have to find at least 6 or 7 or 8 of them to be able to build this group of families together. Quite often we'll build a subdivision and buy finished lots, or build a piece of raw land and build a subdivision. And so that can take 2 to 3 years. So that process initially is the families aren't involved. We're out there getting the land. And then once the land is available, then we will go ahead and recruit the families, package their mortgage loans, put everything together so that they're ready to go out and start construction.
Wow. So you help them through that process?
Oh, yes.
Through the
we hold their hand through the whole process. There's we package their loan, we make sure their loan gets approved. We work with them during construction, pre-construction, training them, as well as during construction. Nobody gets to go out to the job site without a supervisor being on the job site. So, and then we bring in professionals for the electrical and the plumbing and the heating and air conditioning. We don't want them doing that. So.
Okay. I have so many questions, Christy.
Go for it.
Okay. So number one, so you guys actually provide the mortgage loans? Is that how you guys get funding for the land and the house? Okay, I'm all wrong. Yes,
it's a lot of little pieces of this and that, but the basic program has 2 components. One is that the United States Department of Agriculture has a program that funds us to be able to provide the staffing for the program, all the people that develop the land all the way to the construction staff. And then the USDA, Department of Agriculture, has a mortgage loan program that the payment is adjustable based upon the income of the family. They always have a mortgage payment. It can go down as low as 1%.
Oh, that's
but
good.
They pay the government back, and so it's not a gift, it's not a grant,
No,
it's a loan, it's a mortgage loan.
But it's for people, like you said, with little or no credit. And so it's a perfect stepping stone for them.
It really is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gets their foot in the door when they really would have nothing but doors in their face.
Exactly. Yeah.
Slammed in their face,
And
right?
what we're finding these days is that the builder's market for an open market is not really addressing the first-time home buyer market. The market is in that next step up, and so we're filling a niche, particularly right now. And so we're pretty excited because the demand is pretty huge.
So you mentioned that the families work together to build their houses together. So what is that dynamic like, and how does that work out?
Well, you're working with people, so it can be a little bit of a challenge. So our construction staff, not only do they have to know construction, but they have to be good at working with people. So they have to have good people skills. But so you have families, it's all adults, the kids can't work on the houses, limit that, but they have to be out there 30 hours a week for like 9 months. Well, most of them are employed, and so they're working their jobs, they're going out there after
all day, Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Our construction staff work weekends, definitely.
Okay.
So it's if you think about it, you're talking about 1,500 hours worth of labor typically in one of these houses, and that's a lot. That's why they call it sweat equity.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because it really is, especially in Northern California in the summer.
Yes, it is a challenge.
So what kind of results have you seen from building these neighborhoods, and what do you see from that?
Well, I think pride in home ownership is one.
Yes.
You drive through the subdivision, you see the people not only they've built the houses, so they want to make sure they're kept maintained, and so that's one of the big pluses. Plus, the neighborhood is built. The soft piece of the neighborhood is built by them working together during those 9 months of construction, and then they know their neighbors from the very beginning. They're able to work together after the house is built, and as well as the skill building. Quite often we'll have single parent households. The woman is the head of household, and she's the one who's putting in the hours, and the skills that are built. Quite often people are amazed by the skills that they can build through the program.
Right, things that you probably wouldn't have if you didn't. I mean, hanging a picture, simple things that you get when you're learning construction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How to fix your plumbing or that is very interesting.
Knocking out a wall and building an addition to it.
Yes.
That happens.
It's impressive.
Yep.
Well, not only is it helping the families, but it's helping them in many, many ways, right? And it's helping the community at large.
Yeah.
Because if you get along with your neighbors, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, now, how big are these homes in general? Like, what's the average size of a home?
I'd say 1,200 to 1,300 square foot. They're very modest
So they're
houses.
starter homes.
Yeah,
That's
they're-
still a
Perfect.
large home to build.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how, if people wanted to get involved with you, how do you allow volunteers to come in and help? Or
Not typically, although we look for people to volunteer for the organization. Self-help housing isn't the only thing we do, and we've built and operate many rental housing projects that are affordable homes for people. And we offer some services on site there, and we're looking for volunteers for that. We have a volunteer board of directors that serves the corporation, unpaid. And so other ways to volunteer, we're always looking for sponsors for our annual fundraiser, which happens in November of every year. And so that's one thing that we look for volunteers. And in addition to just supporting the program, you said it was a secret to you, and I'm glad that we were able to
I've never heard of this before.
this to you, but we want people to say, yeah, this is important in our community. Because we receive federal and state funding every year, we have to go through that jump through those hoops to say this is important, and we see support on both sides of the aisle for this type of program. But that doesn't mean we don't have to speak up for the program.
So is your program, what percentage is funded through government and what percentage is funded through other outside donations?
I'd say about 60% through government. I think that the USDA program is almost exclusively government funding, but the sweat equity piece of it is pretty significant, and so that's like in-kind labor.
Yeah, it totally is. That they want to do.
Yeah, it's like a down payment.
It is.
Right.
Now, what if someone doesn't fulfill their 30 hours,
So
1 week or something?
We empower the groups of families. They elect a president, they elect a timekeeper. Those are the officers of the groups, and so they have the power to basically say, if you're not keeping your end of the deal, we're expelling you from the group. And so there's some consequences to that.
Yes.
That's
and
great,
that's
though.
accountability is really important.
Have you seen that happen?
Just a few times. The peer pressure that's involved, the houses get built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That is very interesting. I'm proud to know that we have this in our community. I feel like I feel really bad that I didn't know about this because it's such a great program.
We're a good kept secret.
And
Not anymore.
Not anymore. You've been on the forum. So if people, what's the biggest question you get asked about your organization?
How do I qualify? How do I find out about what you have available? And I think the biggest thing would be to call the office or to email the office. And I think, or go to our website, chiphousing.org, chiphousing.org. Our phone number at our office is 891-6931. And we have a front desk person who's very knowledgeable about what's available, where we're going to be building coming up, but also just to get your name on the list so that way when we do start building in your community that you get notified of that and get a chance to apply. It's a very popular program, and so as soon as the word gets out that we're building in a place like Cottonwood, the people start calling and wanting to send their application in, and so it's quite popular.
How are people chosen?
It's a first come, first served program. You have to qualify. So in other words, if you apply, you're in the order received, then and you don't qualify, obviously you're not going to make it into the program. But at this point, it's a first come, first served.
Oh. And how many projects do you generally have at a time? I mean, it sounds like, you're like, we're going to start in Cottonwood. Is it just when you get the land?
Yes, when the land is available, and then sometimes funding availability. We typically build about 40 to 50 houses a year, and so we are pacing ourselves. Building in Orland, say, if we've built a number of houses in that community, we'll move on to another community while that market replenishes itself, basically. And so right now we're building in Linda, in Yuba County, in Orland, and then coming up in Cottonwood.
Wow. And so how many homes are in the average neighborhood?
Yeah.
I'd say about 30 maybe would be a good average. We've built projects as small as 6 and as large as 75.
Okay, wow.
So, and a 75 unit project, a house project would be phased. It wouldn't happen all at once. It would be over a period of maybe 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
That is now,
So
and you're
neat.
based in Shasta County?
We're based in Chico.
In
We used to be
Chico,
Chico
okay,
Housing
okay.
Improvement Program, and we changed our name in the 90s to reflect our broad geographic scope. And we also operate rental housing. So we have an apartment complex we own and manage here in Reading. We have an apartment complex in Marysville that we own and manage, and many in between. And so we operate that as a.
And those are low
income.
income?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, affordable
so
homes
wonderful,
for low-income
affordable.
families and for low-income individuals and for farm workers as an example.
Sure.
Well,
So
you're
what
doing a
is your
great thing.
website one more time? For our viewers?
Chiphousing.org.
Chiphousing.org.
Yep.
That's easy.
That
Yeah.
is fantastic. I'm just really impressed.
Yeah, thanks for coming on,
No
Dave.
problem.
We really
Glad to be
we
here.
like to hear about this, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to see these things are going on in our own backyard. We don't even realize it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I guess just supporting by being supportive of what you do and and supporting your fundraiser in the fall.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, questions, call us or come or email us or come by the office. So.
Yeah.
All right, chiphousing.org. Thank you, Dave,
Thank
for
you
being
very
on.
much. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. You've had another awesome show here at the Forum. Ashley and I appreciate you watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.